Hey, Mike, what do Kelly Slater and PT have in common?
I don't know. They're both world champs?
Nope, they both own Endless Summer box set.
Oh my God, rad. You guys, you can get it too. The link's in the show notes.
On a sluster, slippery, big guns like Mark Fu, trap jumping like a kangaroo.
Hey everybody, welcome to the QuiverCast, where we chat with surfers from all around the world, from all walks of life, and we get their story. Find us at www.thequivercast.com. I am Mike, your host. Let's get into the show. Hello, everyone. This is Mike here with the QuiverCast. And I'm super stoked because I got a super talented lady here from kind of the local area, even though I think you're in Puerto Rico. Her name is Brooke Young. Are you in Puerto Rico?
I am in Puerto Rico, yes. I'm living here for the winter as of now.
Wow. So actually, let's start there. Why are you living there and how did you arrange that?
Years ago, like pre-COVID, so a couple years ago, I came here to train with a coach, ended up loving it. One thing led to the next, like started doing a couple contests here that are super fun and at like really fun breaks. So it's just like a blessing to surf those breaks with three other girls out, so just kind of ended up falling into place year after year. I would start coming here for a couple weeks, surf trip, make it a little longer each time, and now I'm here for like 4 months.
Wow.
So this is my first time almost living here, so to speak, and not just doing a surf trip. So I'm loving it so far.
Okay. So are you staying with the coach or like where are you staying with?
I just got like a little place, a little Airbnb, having people stay with me throughout. But just kind of by myself and hanging out, but also have friends and family coming to visit throughout my trip.
Cool. Okay. So there's a lot of questions there. Water's warm compared to so let's start backwards. You're from San Diego, Sunset Cliffs, right?
Born and raised Sunset Cliffs, Point Loma, OB, that whole little triangle right there.
Perfect.
That's my home. Always love it. But yeah, I'm happy to get rid of the 4-3 for the winter.
Okay, so now we'll talk about San Diego in a little while. Puerto Rico, besides you loving it and stuff in warm water, are the waves good?
Yeah, the waves are awesome. And there's so many variety of waves here. Everything from very mellow to you can take a fish or a cruiser out any day to as gnarly as you want it to be, really. So there's, it's still an island. There's always the good and the bad. Today was super windy. Went out for just a grindy little surf, nothing crazy, but there's a huge variety of waves here. Lefts, rights, steep, not so steep. It's awesome. It's a good training ground.
Good training ground. Most people are going to Hawaii this time of year, and you're choosing the opposite coast, basically.
Yeah. I mean, why not? There's a little less people over here. Hawaii's pretty expensive,
That's true, too.
I'm not doing contests, so I don't need to be in that scene at the moment anyways. So might as well escape it, do something different. And this place is probably my favorite place in the world, to be honest, or to travel to at least. So I wanted to commit for a winter, for sure.
Okay. So you're literally there just to have fun?
Yes. I'm working on the side just to, make rent.
Oh, okay.
But I'm essentially surfing and just living life. Okay.
So Puerto Rico's thumbs up, and it's probably, I'm guessing, way less crowded than Hawaii would be, or even Sunset Cliffs would be.
Totally. Yeah.
Is it?
There's definitely still crowds here like any other place, but nothing compared to the North Shore. California has even gotten crazy lately, so it's nice to kind of escape the crowd, and it's always crazy still having a session by yourself. Sometimes you can sneak away and catch the right moment between the crowds, between the shift change, and get a second to yourself, which is unheard of back at home nowadays.
You're probably 100% correct there. Okay. With that being said, a couple more questions about Puerto Rico. What's the surf scene like?
There's a lot of surfers here.
Is there?
It's definitely still it's fully on the map, fully there. They have a lot of contests for all the local people, and there's a bunch of local rippers. Like, there's so many fun people to surf with, to watch surf, because they obviously know those spots like the back of their hand. Like, there's a huge surf scene here for sure.
Really?
It's cool.
And then
yeah,
the people you're surfing with, like on a daily basis while you're there, like from like yesterday or today, even today, are all these Puerto Ricans, or are they like Americans coming down there like you and visiting?
it kind of depends. Where my place is like located, it's a lot more Puerto Ricans, but there's definitely still, people from all over the states down here for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I tend to surf with like primarily local people, but like you go to another town that's a bit away and there's people from the States. Like, I don't know, it's kind of a mixed bag. There's a little bit of everything for sure.
Perfect. And what's the water temp right now?
Nice. It's like it's like 83. No need for even a wetsuit top. I don't know exact numbers, but yeah, no need to worry about a wetsuit top even when it's windy and crack of dawn.
Really?
So nice. Yeah.
I'm super jealous. I surfed this morning and it was super duper cold. Like, it's winter.
I've heard it's that
winter.
time of the year.
Right on. All right. Now let's start from your beginnings. You grew up surfing where? How'd you start surfing?
I actually learned to surf over in Hawaii, in Kauai, and then I was like, didn't really think much of it. Got a board for Christmas that following year, and then it just kind of stuck. I don't know. My family always grew up going to the beach, and I was always like boogie boarding, just hanging out, being a kid, and then started surfing. I was like, oh, this could honestly be something I'm like really into, and I was 11 years old at the time, I guess. So
okay.
It just kind of stuck after that, and then it was full-fledged, the whole nine.
So you said Kauai. Is that where you grew up initially before you moved to San Diego?
No, not at all. Born and raised San Diego, but we just have family in Kauai, so that's
cool.
Like that was our family vacation spot. So
it was super cool.
Fun. Yeah.
But you never tried an OB or something, like kind of messed around with a boogie board or anything?
I'm sure I did, but my like original memory and like first family, like I get like my first photo of surfing a wave was at Honolulu Bay, which was like so cool.
Rad. So then vacation's over, you're at home, and what do you talk to your dad into getting you a wetsuit and surfboard, or like how does that work?
Pretty much. My uncle's a shaper, so it was just like always kind of an idea in my mind, but like I'd never really done it before. I was always just hanging out at the beach, not surfing. So that Christmas, my dad got a board for me from my uncle, and then it was just like all fell into place from there. It was like snowball effect. Like, oh, I really like this. Okay, like starting to, not just go straight. And and the next couple of years down the road, it was NSSAs, WSAs, like every weekend.
Your uncle, what's his name?
Steve Pendarvis.
Okay. All right. And he's a shaper. Does he shape his own boards, or does he shape under a label?
Yeah, he shapes his own boards out of Sunset Cliffs, Pendoflex. Okay. It's very like super small, local.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, very much Sunset Cliffs.
Okay. Sunset Cliffs guy. And then did your dad surf?
He surfed when he was younger, but not like, I've never seen him surf. He just did it for fun when he was a kid too.
Right on.
Yeah.
How far are you guys from the beach? Pretty close?
Yeah, super close. I'm lucky enough to live 10 minutes away from the beach. Quick drive.
So your dad knows the Southern California surf lifestyle. He's
totally
with it.
Yeah, he was born and raised Ocean Beach as well, so he gets it.
Totally understands it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't play any traditional sports, or do you? Do you play soccer or I don't know, basketball or whatever?
Not anymore. When I was a young kid, before I started surfing, actually, I did soccer, gymnastics, softball, and then I even played baseball too as well.
Cool.
My parents always really wanted me to be in a team sport, which I absolutely loved, and I think that's a great thing. But then once surfing kind of took, I was like, oh, what if surfing was my sport? Because I had to do a sport like year round.
Okay.
And it was kind of hard to convince them to like let me do surfing like as a year-round sport, because we didn't know anything about contests or anything like that at that time. But yeah, then it all changed from there. I dropped every other sport, and now I just surf pretty much. I skate a little bit, but like super subpar. just cruise.
Just like from point A to point B kind of thing, or
Pretty much, yeah. If I have to skate to work, that's what I'm doing.
yes, that's okay. I get it. Okay, you convinced them to let me go surf, and you kind of like your parents explored and they found like contests, or they found it through school, or how'd that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like I just had to like. Yeah, I was super young, to be honest.
Yes.
I honestly don't even know how we ended up finding the contest route.
Okay.
I just was like always involved in competitive sports and stuff like that when I was a kid. So,
yeah,
God bless my parents. I'm sure it was something to do with them. They figured it out as soon as I said I wanted to surf. They were cool with it.
Once again, you're a young girl. You have a wetsuit and surfboard. Your dad's not surfing. Your parents aren't surfing. What's the takeaway of going out at the Sunset Cliffs as a little girl, or Ocean Beach Pier, and it's kind of a heavy crowd?
OB can definitely be a
thick crowd.
Scene in and out of the water.
Yeah, especially back then.
Yeah. Going to the cliffs, my uncles would take me, which was awesome because I'd just be like, all right, I'll pick you up at dark. We'll go surf 5 a.m. Be ready, and those were, looking back on it now, like those were some of the best sessions of my life. Just being like, low crom, standing on the curb with my board and wetsuit already on, like 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's funny, but other than that, like my mom's like super into photography, so she would still like watch me and take photos of me at the beach and stuff. So it wasn't just like, oh, have fun. Like they were hanging out and stuff too. And then I ended up getting to know a lot of the local people that surfed, and one thing led to another, just kind of in a year or two, I had like a solid crew of people just that I would know every time I paddled out, sort of thing.
And they're kind of looking out for you.
Totally. Yeah.
Totally. Your mom being a photographer and showing up at the beach to take pictures of you. So you're probably documented your surfing lifestyle in life.
Yes. Which
That's
is
rad.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Super cool.
So crazy that I have so many photos. Like, thank you to my mom for standing on the beach for hours on end when it's, terrible 2-foot Southern California on shore. That sort of vibe. So it's crazy to see my progression of like, even like when I was just younger, just every week I remember being so like claimed happy, like super stoked that I did like a tiny little backside floater, and like that was insane. And like I have that photo. I have the photo of me doing the claim, and it's hilarious. I love it. It's so funny. Makes me happy to be where I am today.
Anything else about Sunset Cliffs, OB? How's the localism? Is there localism? You always hear, you get stink eye and stuff if you paddle out there and you're a stranger.
Yeah, there's definitely a thick crowd there for sure. But just know the right people, be respectful. I've had to deal with it coming to me, and then, vice versa. Like it's just part of it out there. Same way goes for a lot of places you surf. Whether or not it's like a well-known break, there's always going to be the local guys that you have to pay your respects to in a way.
Okay.
But be nice, smile is what I always like to say, and it might give you a wave or two. You never know.
Are you out there being a local?
No,
sometimes?
I try not to, because I know there's just nothing good that's going to come from that.
Yeah, okay.
There's nothing good from being grumpy. There's like sometimes you get a little like angry with certain situations and that sort of thing, but I learned that nothing good comes from being a grump. So just smile, laugh, wave, catch the next wave. It'll be good.
I think we need to hear that more often, really.
Totally.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing contests. How are you doing contest?
I actually stopped doing contest about maybe a year ago, half a year ago. Okay. I haven't signed up for anything this season. I did contests literally like pretty much ever since I figured out I could. Started doing contests. I started so from like the age of maybe 13-ish, around there, until I was 20. I was doing a lot of contests. Like NSSAs every weekend when they would do the back to back, like multiple divisions. I'd have 8 different like divisions in one weekend. It was
Wow.
It was wild. I did a lot of them, and it taught me a lot about myself as well as competitive surfing in general. But kind of had a point in my life where I don't want to do contests anymore, and it's pretty weird surfing without like having a contest in the future.
Okay.
You know, like having a goal in mind, but it's been really fun to just free surf and have fun doing it and not focused on if I can get that 5.3 in the next 5 minutes.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about surfing contests in general, that whole period of your life, which was like, what, 8, 9 years, 10 years, something like that? Okay.
Yeah.
All those different heats, was that you? Was that your parents? Was it a collaboration? Like, how did you make choices to serve more than one division and so on?
It was me. I definitely wanted to do it. Yeah. I was like, I don't know. It just was awesome. I really liked it at the time being. And, you know, there's nothing like grinding out good old Southside Huntington. It's wild. Especially like at that age, it was like so good for me to do that and stuff. Like I really enjoyed it, and so much to be like to learn from that experience in my life. But now that I'm older, I just wanted to try surfing in a different way, so to speak.
What you said you learned from that? What did you learn from that? You know,
just like competition surfing is so hard. It's so difficult. Like mentally is the hardest part. Like knowing that those are the conditions you and your competitor are given, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know,
right.
no matter how bad you do or don't want to go out, it's kind of just like part of it. But yeah, it's hard to say like what exactly I learned from it, but I am so happy I did it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So you put the brakes on it. You're not doing them this year. How hard was that decision? Was it an easy decision? Hard decision?
Yeah, it was honestly pretty easy. Once I graduated high school, I went to public school, so I didn't travel as much as I wanted to, which like I was super happy with still, no matter what. So like once I graduated high school in 2019, I was like, all right, QS, like I want to do the whole year, as many contests as I can. This is what I've been waiting for. And then I think it was like that next spring, COVID hit. And so that kind of changed some things. I was able to definitely still do a really good amount of contests between like trying to skip school and like then that little bit of time before COVID hit. And then recently WSL has changed it to where you can only surf your region. So I'd be the North American region. And when I started doing the QS, I was doing it strictly to just travel to new places, meet new people, have fun. I wasn't necessarily ever looking to do it to qualify. Okay,
really?
And I was like, you know, I don't know. I can surf Morro Bay. Like, you know, it's just the contests we have now are definitely a lot different than what it used to be. And I was just, it was time to move on to the next thing. I wasn't necessarily ever killing it in contests either. So I was just ready to travel on my own terms.
Okay. And you have a couple sponsors, and they're cool with that? Are you still sponsored with them?
Yeah, no one ever really was against it. They were like, do what makes you happy. Like, we're totally cool with that. Like, do whatever needs to be done. Okay. Which was awesome. You know, I was never top of the rankings. That was never my situation. So that also played into it for sure.
I mean, you surf super good. I love the way you surf. So that's probably what's keeping you. So you're basically like a free surfer then, kind of that right?
I guess. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know if anybody would be like, oh, what are you doing right now? I'd be like, oh, I'm a free surfer. But I don't know. I just surf for fun.
Okay, so now surfing, it is what it started out to be, for fun, for yourself. Yeah. Was it always for yourself?
Surfing for fun. It was definitely always for myself, but in contests, I got to such a point where I was like, I felt like what I was doing on a wave was like exactly what a judge wanted to see, not necessarily what I wanted to do on the wave.
Okay.
So that was also part of the decision of me, like kind of taking a step back from doing contests, you know, like I love riding a variety of different boards, twin fins and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, maybe take a nice little high line on a twin fin and do a big old roundhouse compared to grinding out 2 or 3 turns on a normal board, you know? So that definitely was 90% of the decision.
Yeah.
It was just, I wanted to try to put my own creativity, I guess, into it and do that sort of thing.
And how has your surfing changed? Besides, obviously, the boards have changed from a thruster to a twin.
I mean, boards have changed. I still love a good old thruster. Like I ride a bit of everything now. There's always a time and a place for the standard thruster.
Yeah.
But it's different. Like going from like competition surfing, especially in Southern California, you're really like grinding through and forcing majority of the turns, unfortunately, just because those are the conditions you're given. So it's interesting to kind of surf different boards, much chunkier, bigger rails. And it's weird to like learn to how more to use your rail, so to speak, than just your back leg of power.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it's been so much more fun. Like it's crazy. Like I'm still like super new to it, have so much to learn, but it's awesome figuring out the different like acceleration points and stuff on different boards and different rail lines, and it's a whole science for sure.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Your uncle shaped you your first board, right? What was that? Just a traditional like thruster at the time, or were you...
Yeah, it was just classic squash thruster, good old comp board.
So you started off in that realm, kind of, and now you're experimenting with different equipment.
Yeah, I started off contest boards only, and I would ride like fun boards every now and then. Yeah. But being so like trying to do so well in all these contests, when I would ride like fun boards or twin fins, like anything besides my contest board, essentially, I would almost feel like I was like falling behind or like slacking in a way, you know, because it was like every surf session had a purpose, and it was like to get better. And then when I would like ride my fun board, I'd be like, oh man, like I could have figured out how to do that turn on that wave with my contest board. And I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. No, it does.
So yeah, I kind of like felt almost guilty about riding other styles of boards when I was younger. So I was like, oh man, I could be training.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Do you think, now looking back at it now, of course, at that point you probably didn't think about it, but do you think that, that make you happy or unhappy? Like, look, does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, were you so focused
I don't think either.
that it took away from the joy of surfing, I guess is the question.
No, not at all. Looking back on it, I'm still like so happy with the route I went and stuff. But I also wish I could tell my younger self that like riding different boards could have been the best thing I could have done for my surfing. And like, you know, it's like, ride a variety of boards. It's not going to hurt, you know? So I wish I definitely gave it more time and more patience, but I don't regret not doing it either. Okay. You know, it's just the way the cookie crumbled.
And then back to you being younger. I think I went online and there was an article, like our pictures taken of you, like Jetty Girl. I think that's the mag, right? And how was that? How did that come about?
Oh, good. Chris Grant. He's like a local photographer at Oceanside, Carlsbad. Yeah, he's awesome. I've known him for quite a few years now. He was actually the first photographer I ever did like my professional shoot, I guess, with. And it was so much fun. Like, it was crazy going from, you know, having mom shooting on the beach to like working with a full-fledged professional photographer, which was super awesome.
When you're doing the professional stuff, is he telling you how to surf, like what he's looking for you to do? Or is he just in the water?
No, not at all. Just go out and have fun. Do your thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, most photographers I've worked with have always just been like, go surf. Like, do whatever you need to do. Go surf. Do whatever you want to do.
Okay, they're not saying...
I've never had anyone be like, do this turn here.
Right,
you know? Yeah. I've never had that vibe personally.
Okay. Back to your younger self in today. We all love surfing, right? I mean, most people that surf all the time are kind of addicted to it, I would kind of guess. Yeah. Maybe. Is there ever mornings where, especially like when it's cold at Sunset Cliffs and it's like, you know, it gets cold in the morning, believe it or not. The water's 58 degrees and you want to surf. Like, where's that motivation come from? Or do you wait till 8 o'clock in the morning until it warms
Sometimes it's hard for me. Like, I'll be honest, I'm kind of a wimp about cold water, and I know San Diego is, like, not even cold compared to a lot of people's opinions, and I'm a wimp about it for sure. So unless it's, like, pumping, I'm typically the 7:30, 8 o'clock shift.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're just let the sun warm us up first, kind of.
Yeah, totally. If my wetsuit's still a little crunchy, it's gotta let it warm up a bit.
Yeah, I like to put mine in the house. I don't like to leave it outside or anything.
Yeah.
It's a little cold. Okay. And what about other
Definitely.
hobbies or anything besides surfing? Like, what else are you doing in Puerto Rico in between the surf sessions?
Oh, man. Working.
Working? Okay.
Yeah, just working, hanging out. But definitely trying to primarily focus on surfing, that's for sure.
Really? Okay. What's your favorite break there in Puerto Rico?
Ooh, it changes all the time.
Uh-huh.
Like, I honestly wouldn't say I have, like, a exact favorite. I really like this one wave Hobos.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a nice little right. I don't want to call it a point break, but it breaks kind of like right off the rock. So it's like very consistent in the way it breaks, and just a super rippable right. As much as I love going left, that right, like, I almost wish I was regular for.
Yeah, really.
Totally. But yeah, that wave has been like my go-to, and it's pretty much always breaking, no matter how small, big, windy it is. It's always got a little bit of something.
Okay, so you're a
which is
goofy
nice.
foot, right? Okay,
Yes.
so do you like to surf backside versus front side, or what do you prefer to surf now that you said you kind of wish you were a regular foot?
I totally prefer going left.
Oh, really?
Going
Front side. Really?
For sure. Yeah. There's not a lot of lefts around here. Like, most of the time when I am going left, it's more me taking advantage of, like, a different swell direction and kind of catching, like, the closeout left into the end bowl of the right, if that makes sense. I don't know of, like, too many, like, solid lefts, at least in my area. I mean, I know they're around. It's an island. There's got to be some, but I do end up going right majority of the time here.
Oh, really? Okay. So your backside's getting better, probably.
I hope so.
So, yeah, okay. So now I said, what is your favorite spot in general at all your travels? Is it one of the breaks in Puerto Rico, or is it somewhere close to home or elsewhere?
Oh, man. It's hard, honestly.
Really?
I mean, my favorite left,
Okay, favorite left.
there's a couple fun waves, like, in Moorea off Tahiti. There's some cool, like, reef pass waves over there. I don't remember the names of them, nor could I ever pronounce them.
That's probably
But
true.
there's some awesome lefts over there for sure that are just, like, wedge, rippable, bouncing at you, but not in, like, a too fast sort of way. Like, super fun and rippable. And then, of course, I love home, but the waves at home are nothing special compared to travels, but home is home.
Home is always home. Did you ever put yourself in a situation where it's like bigger than you thought, maybe, or heavier than you thought? And how did you deal with that?
Yeah, I was back when I was doing contests. We were in Western Australia.
Wow. Okay.
Over there, and it was like, for me at the time, it was a pretty heavy wave, and it was a backside right barrel.
Ooh.
So I was just nowhere near confident or comfortable enough to be out there. And I got humbled.
So do you know what happened? Did you catch a wave, or did you?
I caught, like, a little one in. I didn't catch, the wave or anything like that. But yeah, it just taking those sets on the head, and it's heavy. It was really heavy. I remember, like, coming up gasping for air.
Really?
Like, I gotta know my limits. I'm not ready for this. Like, this is a lot.
Was this a free surf, or was this during the contest? I think you said contest.
It was a free surf.
Oh, it was a free surf.
Yeah, it was free surf, but for the contest. So, of course, there's, like, so many QS people out there, and it's already a crazy lineup in general. I was just like, oh, man. But luckily, by my heat, it wasn't as gnarly.
Okay.
But it was a heavy wave. That was definitely, like,
What's the name of the wave? Do you remember?
Good wake-up call for me. I don't, unfortunately.
So Western Australia, heavy QS wave. And how were the other competitors doing? Were they also? Was there several of you guys going?
I'm sure there was, but I don't know. Yeah, there's some other girls just absolutely charging that wave for sure.
Good.
Yeah, it was a gnarly wave. Respect for sure
Yeah.
for everybody that was going for that.
And how old
It
are you
was-
at this point?
I was probably like 18.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a couple years ago, and it's cold.
Yeah.
I'm like kind of, it was a little sharky, it's just
everything.
Ooh, yeah, it was a little much for me at the time, but it was like a really good learning experience.
Okay.
It's been like, oh, I survived. Okay, we're good.
So paddling out of Sunset Cliffs, it kind of reminds, in a maybe a light way, it has that, because of the cliffs and everything and kind of the kelp. It kind of has that
Yeah.
Western Australia feel, I would think, a little bit.
It has like the same spookiness
Uh-huh,
energy,
uh-huh.
But the waves definitely are nowhere near as pounding.
I'm sure,
Like,
yeah.
It's super mellow, but definitely with the kelp, and depending on where you surf, you're not necessarily close to land, cars, or a phone.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I've had some, like, I've never seen anything out there, but you get that feeling. You're like, oh, I'm not alone here.
I mean, even though there's a million people right behind you within a mile,
Yeah.
it gets pretty, you're out there by yourself.
It's
sometimes.
something. Yeah, you're counting your odds. You're like, all right, am I the fastest or the slowest paddler out here? How's this going down?
And there's no beach.
Yeah. There's a beach if you're lucky.
Yeah, okay.
So
all right.
better be ready to paddle. But I've never seen anything there.
Never.
That's just my own paranoia coming for me.
Okay. What are your current goals? Anything? Just a free surf? Are you just living your life now? Like, what are your plans? To go back to contest,
Yeah.
or you're done forever?
At this point in time, not necessarily.
Okay.
I don't ever want to say never,
Right. Gotcha.
never say never, but at this point in time, not specifically.
So you're just moving
But
on.
my goals right now are hard. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like classic 21-year-old
Yeah.
that like doesn't really know what they're doing with their life.
That's okay.
Just trying to take it day by day.
All right, cool. At least it's in warm water.
Totally. Yeah, warm water, good weather, still having fun.
Okay, and then you have on your Instagram, you have several like clips of wave pools. What are your thoughts?
The only wave pool I've been to is the one in Waco. I mean, I think it's an absolute blast.
Is it?
I went like a couple years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago, which was super fun. And then recently I went as well in October, and it's just so much fun. I mean, I think it's like a really good training ground for anyone that's trying to just figure out how to surf in general or work on like a specific turn. I know some people are definitely anti-wave pool, but it's so much fun.
Yeah. So,
It's like a skate park.
yeah, with the wave being always the same, does that get too repetitive, or is it still enjoyable? Like, I mean, can it get too much?
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
It definitely, yeah, totally. It definitely can, but that's like where I was like trying to challenge myself and like try to bring in more creativity in my surfing, which I think was like definitely a big part for me right now, especially since I'm not doing competitions, is trying to be more creative on waves and not do your usual sort of stuff. So like it's definitely can get very repetitive, but also if you find that turn you want to land and you get a dozen times to try it, whereas in the ocean, it's going to take a couple sessions to find that dozen times to try that one turn.
Did it translate well into the ocean when you came back?
So. I mean,
Okay.
that the wave at Waco, like, definitely still has, like, a decent amount of power to it.
Okay.
Well, not, like, anything crazy, obviously,
Right,
but
right.
you can do a snap and not have to make up for or anything and not have to make up for your speed there. And that doesn't happen all the time in Southern California. Usually you're trying to make speed, not burn speed.
Yeah.
It can be challenging, but it just also just depends on what wave you're trying to translate it to as well.
Okay. With more and more wave pools and the technology change and more wave pools being built, what's your take on how that's going to affect surfing in general? Do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to bring a lot more surfers in general,
Okay.
just to the community, which is a good thing for, small business support and like that sort of thing. But busier lineups are definitely tricky.
Yeah.
So there's good and bad to that for sure. It benefits pros and cons to both those things. But yeah, I definitely think surfing's only going to grow. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now, being there, were there people there literally just from Texas that never surfed in the ocean?
Yes.
Yeah. Was there?
There was.
And how were they doing?
Yeah. There's a couple people that were like just cruising, having a great time, like enjoying being there. And like some people that like grew up and on East or West Coast, whatever, like surfed when they were a kid, then moved to Texas and now they're able to surf again, which I think is super cool.
That's
you know,
right.
whatever brings you to a certain place. Sometimes you end up landlocked depending on your job, stuff like that. But yeah, there's definitely some people that had never surfed in the ocean before, which is wild.
Which actually now this is a good question for you, being so young and just, you know, figuring out your life. Would you move inland for the right job, or do you need to be by an ocean?
No, I would need to be by the ocean.
Okay. So money's not
Sure.
everything?
Yeah. No, money's never everything.
Okay. All right.
Need that salt water.
I like that. Okay. You think later on in life there would be a way to sell you to Austin or Waco? Or it just you
I
don't
doubt
see it. You don't see it.
No, I doubt it. Yeah, it would have to be. I doubt
Okay.
it.
Fair enough.
So I also love the like Waco's awesome and getting to practice the same turn and same style of wave over and over. Like part of the beauty of surfing is like having to figure it out on the spot and figure out what turn you're gonna do in that split second.
Yeah.
Reading the wave. That's part of it.
Okay.
And that's part of it that we all love too.
Actually, another question I just thought of. So you're in Waco, which is like the heart of Texas, literally in the middle. What did you think of the people there? Like, so you're so used to Ocean Beach and Southern California and hippies and surfers and, you know, jock. You got this, it's Southern California. And then you go to Texas and
Totally.
everyone, I mean, I'm going to stereotype and probably wrong, but they're wearing cowboy boots and Lee jeans and like, what was the feeling like? Do you enjoy the difference is?
It was like very much Southern hospitality,
Okay.
which that was like the first time I truly had experienced that. And it was awesome. I mean, the people were like, not that no one's like as nice in Southern California, but it's, you know, you just like sitting at a restaurant having a drink or ordering food or whatever, and the waiter like goes out of their way to like make your day.
Yeah.
And like you ask them for local recommendations and they're like, oh, let me get my phone. I have like a whole list.
That's cool.
You know, like there's pros and cons for sure. But yeah, everyone was like so welcoming and just like, welcome to town. Check out these 15 places. Like go to them all. Say hi. I know that I grew up with them in high school. You know,
cool.
like it's everybody knows each other around there.
Oh, right. Oh, actually, okay. Well, here's a funny one. I'm glad I remembered. I didn't write it down. On your Instagram, you're like, when did you turn 21? What was your birthday?
March 4th.
Okay, so 9 months ago or 8 months ago or something like that.
Yeah.
You said, I'm looking forward to my first beer. How was that? First off, now you can admit to it, and I know your parents are probably going to listen, but was that your first beer ever or not?
No. No, I'm just a normal teenager coming from San Diego. Don't want to incriminate myself.
Yeah, don't do that. That's funny.
Yeah.
But how was the
I
first
also have
21-year-old beer?
It was great.
Okay, cool.
Tasted better than ever. I also have like a big passion for beer too.
Oh, do
I'm
you?
learning how to brew beer and very much into all of that. So that was also like kind of part of the joke as well for people that knew me personally.
Oh,
It was
gotcha.
like I'm studying craft beer, working at a brewery. Like,
Are you?
yeah, I think she's had a beer before.
Are you literally working at a craft beer place?
Yeah, when I'm at home
Yeah.
in San Diego, I am.
Oh, cool. Which one?
Yeah, it's awesome. Hodad's Brewing.
Okay. Where's that?
They're a restaurant in Ocean Beach.
The regular
They're like
Hodad's.
a hamburger
Yeah,
restaurant. Yes,
the famous
same
Hodad's.
people. So yeah, correct.
Really?
They were one of my sponsors way back
Really?
in the day. Still are. Started a brewery. I turned 21. I was like, hey,
Where's the brewery?
would you be
at?
interested? And it's out in Kearney Mesa, but it's like strictly just a brewery. There's no
You can't
nothing
sit
else
no
with
restaurant with it.
No. Hopefully in the future, but not at the moment. But yeah, I mean, they're awesome. They've like taught me everything I know about beer, essentially. And,
Really?
but they're also the best in the way that they're like, yeah, go to Puerto Rico for 5 months. Like, have fun. See you when you get back.
That's awesome. Yeah, super good. So they're totally supported.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, their support, not only as a sponsor, but as well as like a workplace, is so sick.
Okay, so now I have another question. So anybody that has been to Ocean Beach, like, my son would serve contests there, or we bring people, show up in San Diego from Oceanside. Mm-hmm. And there's a huge, huge line at Hodad's. Did you get to cut in line?
I don't get to cut in
You
line.
don't? Good.
No, I don't. I've never pulled that string. That's
never.
No, I'll just order takeout or,
Okay.
You figure out the right times to go.
I don't think there's ever. It's always a line there. The one in OB.
Yeah, there is definitely. OB always has a line for sure, but
Super good burgers.
if you go like 3:00 on a Wednesday, not summertime, you're probably good.
Really? Awesome. Okay, I got to remember that. I'm going to write that down right now. I love Hodad's.
For sure. Just go like random midweek, random times, not, June, July, August, and you're probably good.
All right. And I got to ask you, what's your favorite thing at the Hodad's restaurant?
I usually just get the classic burger.
Okay. Perfect.
And then the frings.
The frings are the
fries
best,
and
yeah.
Yeah, fries and onion rings in the same basket.
So the people that don't know and are listening to this, if you're in San Diego, you have. I feel like it's a must do is eat lunch at
Definitely.
Hodad's, right?
Yeah, you have to do it. It's like
Wait in that line.
if you're in Ocean Beach or downtown San Diego,
Yeah,
got to do it.
and you're gonna wait in line.
Part of the experience.
Wait in line, get your good burger, your frings, and you're gonna sit next to the stranger, and it's the best.
Definitely.
And then we did talk a lot about like your clips on social media stuff. What are your thoughts on social media in general?
It's hard. I'm not great at it.
Really?
I definitely I try my best, but like when I don't have surf clips that I'm getting like every couple days, then I struggle with trying to create something to post. I'm not necessarily like one to just go pose on the beach and take a photo in bikini. That's definitely the opposite of how I roll. So I will do it, but I struggle with that for sure. So it's hard when I am not surfing or injured or whatever, and I don't just have these clips I can post every week. It's hard to do, but that's the name of the game nowadays. And if you want to surf and you're not doing contests, it's social media.
You have to do it. Kind of.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
You got to be doing something on the internet.
So, okay. Yeah, you were probably too young when there was like magazines and stuff. So, but yeah, so
Yeah.
do you feel like it's a job almost to have to come up with the... I mean, if you're surfing naturally, it's good. Someone's on the beach.
Yeah.
Which is another question. Who's taping you or filming you? But do you feel like you have to have a post out there? And is it become non-fun ever?
No, not at all. I
Still
don't
fun.
have anyone bugging me to post every once in a while, besides my mom, but she does it out of the love.
Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, I don't have anyone that's like, you need to post this many times,
Okay, good.
whatever. So that's super nice. Definitely, I have my own free will on that.
Yeah.
But like, that's also part of my gig is like, I do need to post.
Okay.
I need to like come up with something about this product or this board or how the waves were, whatever it might be. Like, it's kind of just like the unspoken rule of that sort of
To be...
connection with sponsors.
Yeah. What about other people's clips and stuff? Are you spending hours on Instagram or whatever? I don't know what, TikTok or Facebook. Probably not. You're probably not a Facebook person.
No, I mean, I definitely spend too much time on social media, like most people my age.
Oh, do you?
I'll admit that, but I don't like grind through Instagram, like stalking other people's clips, and they're like,
Okay.
oh my gosh, like they're doing this, they're doing that. Like, I don't know. I go on, I watch all my friends' stuff and people I know and love, and that's kind of let it be at that. And
Okay. I mean,
I'm not too crazy with it. I try not to be, at least.
yeah, I think Instagram is good for surfing because you can see, like I would have never found you actually if I don't know even how I found you on Instagram.
Totally, yeah, stuff like that where it's like,
For me, it works.
you gotta do it, for sure.
I mean, it gets me in contact, and And I do love watching like surf clips. I still, I like the surfing clips. I feel like I would be out of touch more if I didn't have the social media. So that's my thoughts, but it's interesting.
Yeah, seeing everybody's posts are like that's how you see what everyone's doing for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's so cool to see everybody's reels or IGTV, whatever edits on YouTube, whatever it might be. That's how you get the word out nowadays compared to magazines a while back.
Now that you are not surfing contests, are you watching surf contests?
Yes, 100%. I have the Santa Cruz Cold Water Classic on right now.
Okay.
I definitely still watch it. Like, some of my best friends still compete. So I watching, supporting, and it's just fun to watch, like fun to listen to. It's entertaining, that's for sure.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I have like FOMO of the waves, but I definitely have FOMO of like hanging out with all the girls and just seeing everybody that I've done contests with over the years for sure. That's been a change, is not traveling and seeing all my friends I don't normally see.
Right on. What about are you now that you're not surfing contests, back to that too, are you cheering for some of your former competitors, some of your former rivals possibly? That like with the Challenger series that maybe they make the CT kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean,
and who are those people?
We're all always like cheering for each other.
Okay.
Like I don't think there's ever been a moment where I'm like, oh, I don't want them to make the heat. Like it's everyone's, no matter whatever happens, stays in the water sort of thing.
Okay.
Like everyone's friends on the beach. It's always all very good vibes and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, it's always interesting to see how, especially with the Challenger series now, it's crazy to see how that's all gone down.
Right.
Definitely makes it more intense towards the back two events of the year.
Right. Okay. So it's very cutthroat, and I like that, and it's enjoyable. Are you cheering? Who are you cheering for to make the CT this year? Do you have any names you want to say, or like?
I'd love to see Alyssa on the CT.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
for sure.
She's so gnarly. So I'd love to see her on the CT, and I might be mistaken, but first girl from San Diego on the CT, I believe.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
So that maybe, I think.
Maybe.
But that would be awesome. Yeah. Just as a San Diego girl, like that would be so sick.
Yeah, someone to cheer for.
I'd definitely love to see her on the CT for sure. And then Tim Biso, one of my best friend's boyfriends, ended up being like, we're all homies now, but I don't think he'll have the chance to make it, even if he wins Haleiwa, but he's done really well, and it's so fun to track all your friends throughout the year. It's like I get so invested in it, like you would like your favorite baseball team or your favorite football team or whatever. Like I'm into it. It's fun.
Perfect. Do you like that the WSL did the Challenger Series? Were you for it, against it, or any thoughts at all on that?
It's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. I definitely like the idea of having kind of a tier in between the CT and the Challenger Series. I think, the CT and the qualifying series. Yeah. I think that's definitely good to have like a 3-tier system. But for me personally, like what I was doing the QS for was to travel and all that, like I was saying earlier. So it kind of ended that for me personally. But I do think it will be better in the long run to have 3 different tiers, because then you don't have like all the super gnarly heavy hitters of the CT coming down and surfing in like the QS and stuff like that. I mean, sometimes you will, but like back in the day, like you're just so happy to make a heat, and then you got to surf against like the top 16 CT girls. You're like, oh no, I was just happy to get in the contest. Can't even think about making a heat. It's crazy.
Did you ever have a girl that wasn't like one of the top girls in the world you had to surf against? And what were your feelings of that? Was it stoked, like I'm surfing against whoever? Or was it I'm bummed, like this person shouldn't be here? What?
Yeah, I've actually thought a lot about this, and like I go back and forth on like how I feel about it all the time. Right. But a couple years ago at the Supergirl in Oceanside, my heat draw was with Caroline Marks.
Oh yeah.
Which is like, it's so cool to surf with someone on that level and everything. And like I totally understand the theory of if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Yep.
But like, I got work. She smoked me and everybody else in our heat, so it's like, oh man, like I would have loved to have gain a little bit of confidence before I go into a heat with somebody like that, for sure. But if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? So I get it. I understand both arguments on that one.
Okay. So you have mixed feelings, you're saying?
Definitely. I go back and forth on it all the time.
But now you can say I surfed against Carolyn Marks.
True.
You know, that's cool. You're right.
Yeah, definitely.
Right on. Brooke, thank you so much for doing and joining the QuiverCast. It was super fun. Have fun in Puerto Rico. Hope you get lots of waves. Hope you surf every day. So thank you so much for joining the QuiverCast.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. This is Mike and Brooke, and we're out of here, you guys. See ya. Bye.
100 foot out choke food. 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out choke food. 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. You know we don't fuck with no cooks. Your boo on my didgeridoo. They calling me dude. I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop. She grabbing a hold of my leggy. They jelly, they Gucci my weddy. The fridge of Giuseppe, the chain is so heavy. She think that I'm charging the Eddie. 100 foot out choke food. 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out choke food. 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. Surf trap, I'm stacking that money. Cash. 4 shorts, a red Ferrari. He starts to calling me Dundee. Diamonds are surfing McFlurry. She want me to teach her to surf. Splash. I'm pulling up, ripping the verse. I'm leaving these kooks in the hearse. They get moved 100 foot on their head, they get work. 100 foot out choke food. 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out choke food. 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. You know we don't fuck with no cooks. You know we don't fuck with no cooks. You calling me dude, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop. You know we don't fuck with no cooks. You know we don't fuck with no cooks. They calling me dude, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop.
Hey, you guys, Endless Summer box set. This thing is legit. It's authentic, numbered certificate in it. It has a 5-frame film strip from the original print. You will literally own a piece of history. It has a specially minted bronze medallion. Dude, that thing's sick. Okay, there's so much more here. Go to the show notes. There's a link on there. Go check this piece of history out. This thing's rad. Seriously. Smithsonian American History Museum has it. It took 4 years of research with 3.5 in production, all hand assembled. This thing's rad. So much to this awesome box set. Remastered DVD, sharper images than the original film, but dude, this thing's so sick. Link in the show notes.